Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's something strange about countries adding fluoride to the water supply. Now, the reason for it is because it does improve your teeth health. So basically, it reduces your chance of getting cavities. That's a proven fact. But another proven fact is that fluoride consumption lowers your IQ. And the more fluoride you have in your diet, the lower your IQ will be. That's also a proven fact. So it's a bit strange why some countries add fluoride to the water supply and effectively dose the entire population with the same amount of fluoride, not really factoring in how much fluoride each person is already getting from their diet. Because some people get far more fluoride in their diet than others, and if you give them on top of that the same dose of fluoride from the water supply, there's a lot of people who are getting far more fluoride than they need. And there's not only impacts to your intelligence with too much fluoride. If you have too much fluoride, it actually reverses the oral benefits and it actually hurts your teeth. So a small amount of fluoride in your diet is very good for your teeth. It reduces cavities. But having too much basically does the opposite. It makes your teeth kind of deteriorate. It does the opposite effect if you have too much fluoride in your diet. So to me, it's very strange why some countries put fluoride in the water supply with no consideration for how much fluoride people are getting from their diet on top of that. Okay, it makes a little bit of sense that everyone should be getting some fluoride in their diet because the proven benefits of reducing cavities, that's very solid evidence behind that. So, okay, it makes sense. Like, you want your population to have less cavities. Okay, it's less cost for them, it's less cost to the healthcare system. Okay, that all makes perfect sense. But to give everyone the same amount and basically to give no one a choice in whether they have fluoride in their water or not, that is very strange to me, because some people's diets have a lot more fluoride than others. So in tea in particular, so in black tea and in green tea, there is a lot of fluoride. And there are a lot of cultures that drink a lot of tea. Like, a lot of cultures drink black tea and green tea. And a lot of them, like multiple cups per day. And the maximum amount of fluoride you should be getting per day is, I think, around 4 milligrams per day. And if you have fluoride in your drinking water, which is the case for the US, Canada, Australia, and a few other countries, you're getting 2 to maybe 3 milligrams per day from your water supply. Plus, if you drink any amount of black tea and green tea, you're easily going to be over the 4 milligrams per day threshold where you start having negative health benefits. And that's not me saying the negative health benefits, that's like the actual health bodies have put out this fact that you shouldn't get more than 4 milligrams per day. But because the government is dosing the entire country with the same amount of fluoride, there's no consideration that it's going to push a lot of people over the healthy limit of fluoride. It's going to push a lot of people into the too much zone of fluoride. And the negative health impacts are not just for intelligence. Like, that's been proven that basically the more fluoride you have in your diet, the lower your IQ will be. It's not a huge impact. Like, if you have 2 or 3 milligrams, I think it's like maybe 2 or 3 IQ points you might lose, but it's dose dependent. So if you have more fluoride than that, you're going to lose more IQ points. And I don't think anyone's really studied people who have a lot of fluoride in their diet, but it might actually be kind of an exponential increase in loss of intelligence, basically. But that's kind of not really proven, so it might be a linear increase. So perhaps if you have 5 or 6 milligrams of fluoride per day, perhaps you might be losing 5 or 6 IQ points. There needs to be more study on that, but what's been proven by science so far is that there is a dose-response relationship between IQ drop and how much fluoride is in your diet. But that's not the only negative health impact, because also if you have too much fluoride in your diet, it actually reverses the health benefits on your teeth. So if you have a small amount of fluoride in your diet, it is very good for your teeth. So it really prevents cavities. So that is a really good health benefit of having some amount of fluoride in your diet. But if you have too much fluoride in your diet, it does the exact opposite. So basically, it kind of deteriorates your teeth if you have too much fluoride in your diet. So you need to have some, but not too much. But by some countries putting fluoride in the water supply, there's no consideration for the people who are already consuming fluoride in their diet and from black tea and green tea. And for those people, they're going to be pushed easily into the negative health zone of too much fluoride. They're going to have lower IQ for one, but also they're going to have negative health benefits for their teeth. They're going to have worse teeth because they're going to have too much fluoride in their diet. So it's very strange why the government would dose the entire country with the same amount. Yes, it's going to help a lot of the population to have less cavities, but it's going to make some percentage of the population have really worse teeth, basically. It's going to really hurt their teeth, and it's going to drop their intelligence of basically the entire population. Now, not by much, by a few IQ points for most, but by multiple IQ points for some people who have too much fluoride in their diet. So again, really, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's just something strange about this. And so there's two other strange things about it. So one strange thing is it's not every country that does this. So the US, Canada, Australia, I think Chile, and a couple other countries put fluoride in the water supply, but most countries don't. So it's a little bit strange why only a few countries do it and most don't. But the really strange thing to me is, why would the government put fluoride in the water supply to try and improve the population's teeth when they put no effort into improving the health of the population in far more important ways? Like, there's no government population-wide plan to prevent people from eating junk food. There's no population-wide plan to stop people from drinking alcohol. There's no population-wide plan to force people to exercise. But there's a population-wide plan to force people to consume fluoride for their teeth. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I think the most likely explanation is not a conspiracy. It's more likely to be incompetence. So it's more likely that just some people lobbied for this, like a group of dentists maybe lobbied for it and convinced the government, and no one really thought about the negative effects of it. Probably no one thought about the consequences of pushing some people into the too much fluoride zone, and probably no one thought about the negative effects on intelligence, or perhaps they didn't care about that. But overall, it's just a bit strange to me. So what I'm doing about it is I have a water filter for my water, because I live in Australia where we have fluoridated water, so we have fluoride added to the water supply here. So I don't drink water straight from the tap, although it's very healthy to drink water straight from the tap here. Like, there's no like bacteria or anything in it. Like, you can drink straight from the tap. But because fluoride is added to it, I need to drink filtered water, because otherwise it would push me into far too much fluoride in my diet. So I drink filtered water, and I use filtered water in everything. So if I have tea or coffee, I also use the filtered water in that as well. But I do try and get some small amount of fluoride in my diet, because I do want the benefits to my teeth. I do want to have like really healthy teeth and no cavities. So what I aim to get is between 2 and 3 milligrams of fluoride per day. And to achieve that, I basically assume that I'm getting about 0.5 milligram per day from my filtered water plus from my diet. And the rest I try and get from my teas, because tea has a lot of fluoride in it, both black tea and green tea. Some more than others, but roughly you can assume 1 milligram per cup of tea of fluoride. So you can see, if you're drinking fluoridated tap water, plus having just 1 or 2 teas per day, you're going to have more than 4 milligrams per day, and you're going to have lower IQ and worse teeth. Like, you won't even have the teeth benefits. So anyway, what I'm doing is I have the filtered tap water, and from my diet I get about 0.5 milligram there. And then I try and be in the range of 2 to 3 milligrams per day in my diet, overall, from all sources. So how I do that is I have 1 green tea that I basically make just normally. I don't do anything with that green tea. So I assume I'm getting around about 1 milligram per day from that green tea. And then I have 2 additional green teas, but I prepare them differently to reduce about half of the fluoride content in the 2 additional green teas that I have. So basically, from the water supply and from my diet, 0.5 milligram, from 1 normal green tea, 1 milligram, and then from 2 specially prepared green teas, I get 0.5 milligram each. So in total, I aim to get maybe 2.5 milligrams per day. and that's kind of a sweet spot to get between 2 and 3 milligrams per day, because I get the optimal benefits for my teeth with really the minimal impact to my IQ. So I still might have a very small IQ drop by having basically any fluoride in my diet, but it would be very small, maybe one or two IQ points. And I'm happy to pay that cost to have really optimal teeth health. So I'm happy to pay that cost. And yeah, I'll just go into how I prepare the second and third green teas to reduce the fluoride content. So the fluoride content in tea is mostly on the outer surface of the tea leaf, and most of the other beneficial compounds in tea are more deeply embedded in the tea leaf. So what you can do is basically just rinse the tea leaves, and you will remove most of the fluoride, but you won't remove much of the positive health compounds from tea. So basically how I do it is I just boil the water, I put the tea bag in, I rinse the tea bag for 10 to 15 seconds in the boiling water, then I tip out that water, and then I make my tea normally. So by doing that, by rinsing it in the boiling water for 10 to 15 seconds, you basically remove at least half of the fluoride, but you only remove maybe 10 to 20% of the beneficial compounds in the tea. So that's what I do for my second and third tea. So for my first tea, I don't do anything because I'm trying to get some amount of fluoride in my diet, so I don't bother with my first tea. Just for my second and third tea, I just rinse it for 10 to 15 seconds and then just make it normally after that. And yeah, that's how I try and optimize my fluoride content. So I might leave a link in the description for the water filter that I'm using if you happen to live in one of the countries that has fluoride in the tap water. It's a very good filter. It's proven. They have studies, not a study, they have scientific, basically lab tests. That's what I was thinking about. They have lab tests to prove how effective it is at removing fluoride and other just negative compounds from tap water. It also removes microplastics and things like that, so it's very good. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get the same water filter I'm getting. And yeah, that's about it, guys. If you like the content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Cheers, guys.